Homage to the Buddha, the Pure One. Homage to the Dharma, the pure teachings. Homage to the Sangha, the pure community. The Dharma is vastly profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. Vasu Bandhu. I'm going to talk again about some things again from our talk. I want to talk about your teacher and him giving talks. Now you said that your tradition doesn't care about lineage, and that's okay. For your tradition, as long as it's not saying that's what Zen teaches, because that's wrong. Then we get into appropriation and fraud again. But one of the things that I want to talk about is your what we talked about yesterday about the teaching and the charging for the teaching and all that. So first thing is that one or two talks ago you told me that, well, why do I even care about his teaching? He's already got 100 students. He's going to continue doing this, so I shouldn't matter. I should just stop there, which is a thought-terminating cliche. And because it's wrong. That's my. We talked about the cost, and you said it was a little bit, and that it was for materials, and it's quite obvious not for materials. One, when he charges for Dokusan, which you don't give handouts for Dokusan. You don't. It's literally called the heart-to-heart, and it's laid out as a talk between him and his students, which is Dokusan or Sanzen. And he's charging $23 US for that, as of when we did the surf yesterday. So that immediately for that aspect, materials goes out the window. Then we looked at his Introduction to Meditation course, and that was $23. And again, I don't see what pamphlet that he's giving out for that, but even if he's giving out a pamphlet, that's like $1 in printouts, not $23. And it's quite obvious that these costs don't reflect somebody who is using them for supplies. And he's not making it optional too. There's no, if you can't afford this. There's nothing like that. And final point is that he's not, while he's accepting people into these courses, he's not telling people that he is untrained, that he is a self-described Zen master. And and the thing is, Sifu Kyuyo Samadhi, Zen master, with no Zen training at all. To me, that right there is a clear case of fraudulent behavior. I wouldn't go to a doctor without training who hadn't gone to medical school. Priests can't give mass if they haven't gone to seminary. You can't be a doshi without being ordained in Soto Zen. And even lay teachers undergo training. But we're not even talking about lay teachers here. We're talking about somebody who's calling himself a Zen master and saying he belongs to a Zen tradition. As far as I can tell, because he's not forthright with any training, that he has no connection to Zen whatsoever. He says that he was trained in Soto Zen, but he has no, from his ceremonies, it looks like he has no understanding of how we do things in Soto Zen. You told me that you guys are Zen inspired, which, as I said yesterday, would be great if you guys said we're a Zen inspired community or whatever. Then at least now you're starting to walk the line of truth. But by calling himself a Zen community, or Zen Buddhism, and it's quite obvious that because you've told me before too that well, we're the Dhammapada tradition. It's quite obvious that he and the rest believe that it's a Zen community, because the website address itself, it's just there, Buddhismo Zen Buddhism. It doesn't get more cut and dry than that, besides the fact that, again, he's calling himself a Zen master. The issue with all this is that he's charging without telling people the truth. This is an attack. This is me asking for transparency within your tradition. Your tradition can continue on without calling yourselves Bhikkhus. If you guys still want to call yourself Dhammapada monks, that's fine. That's honest. But if you want an easy way to defraud people, that's not going to be to start your own sect of Buddhism. Is not the easy way. It's easier to latch onto an existing one already and call yourself a master of that. So things that I don't say this lightly. We have somebody who's charging to teach Buddhism who's not trained in Buddhism. And so we just don't believe in training. All right, if you say that's your guys, okay. But there's two issues there. First issue is you're not telling people that he's not trained, and that's not Zen. So you get rid of Zen then, all right? We still have you're not telling people he's not trained. Now, there's the act of using Bhikkhu to refer to monastics, which with that honorific comes great respect from lay people. There are, on top of that, then you've got the monastic robes. Everything is not made is made to copy an existing tradition, to appropriate an existing tradition. He did not try to make something new. Your teacher tried to appropriate an existing tradition and make it his own. And because he's charging people, it seems like he's doing it for money. As I said in the previous video, your teacher decided to put on the robes of Chinese monastics. They weren't given to him. That's appropriation. Your teacher isn't Chinese, doesn't belong to a Chinese tradition, and yet he appropriated the robes of Chinese monks, which is odd considering that he said he wanted to make something that was free from Asian influence. He wanted to make something that was solely Latin American. I also want to have you ask him to please, I'd ask you and him to stop wearing the Chinese robes, the robes of Chan monastics. Come up with your own robe set. But don't directly copy the robes of Chinese monastics. And I definitely would ask him to stop wearing the okesa. This robe right here. It is not a fashion accessory. It's not something used to make yourself look more Zen. It is something sacred. I am specifically wearing my transmission okesa that took me 4 months to sew, that I had to give to my teacher and then receive. And I'm wearing this to hopefully explain to you the supreme importance that the kesa has to us in Zen. It's not something that you can just don on. It's everyone who wears the okesa has received the precepts. Your teacher has not received the teachers, and they received their robes from their teachers. Your teacher has no teacher. But if you want to defraud people and you want to appear like you're a Zen master, then you're going to want to wear the robes. You're going to want to put on the kesa. You're going to want that. And as I said before, they're not affectations. They're not things to be used. They're not things to be used to defraud. They're things that are given. So please, I would beg you to ask your teacher to stop wearing the okesa. To stop dressing up like monastics. Create your own thing, because that's honest. If you are a Zen-inspired tradition, like I said before, call yourself a Zen-inspired tradition. We are the Dhammapada community that is a Zen-inspired tradition. That's fine. But, again, like we talked about yesterday, appropriation. Your teacher isn't Chinese, nor is he a Chinese Buddhist monk. He's not even wearing the training robes of the Shaolin or what have you. He's specifically taking the robes of a tradition that he does not belong to, and then presenting himself off as a teacher with training that he does not have. And in wearing the robes yourself, you guys perpetuate this lie. So, you know, throughout all this, I hope you realize that none of it is attack. It is all aimed at the truth and transparency. There are traditions around the robes and the okesa that have existed for thousands of years. You can't just take them, put them on as a fashion accessory and say, well, we do it things differently. That's appropriation. You can't charge people for classes and tell people you're a Zen master without having been trained. That's fraud. These are clear-cut cases. And if you feel like you have to personally attack me instead of actually responding to the points that I'm making with the truth, then you know you're on the wrong side of things. So I would ask, think deeply, talk to your teacher. Please ask him to remove the kesa, because it's not appropriate for him to wear one. And I know even a harder thing, but I think you guys should remove the robes too, but I pick battles. But and think deeply on what I'm saying. Because not one of it's a lie. I've not made any of this stuff up. You saw, your first thing was, well, these charges are for printouts, and so, well, first of all, the cost is way too high for printouts. $23 for printouts is ridiculous. What meal is being served there? And when you look at actually how much that $23 is in Argentina, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. On top of the fact that you can't respond to his Aishin Denshin, where he's charging $23 to just have a conversation with his students. These are very troubling things. So, again, if you feel like you need to attack me, or the people that you're talking to each other with feel like you should attack me because of the truth, you're fine. You're welcome to do it. I will never attack back. I will just continue to ask for the truth. Or if I do respond back, I'll respond back with the truth, and that's it. So, with that said, all harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance born in me, body, mouth, and mind. Now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, O beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way inattainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way inattainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way